Hey Phoenixes, Daniela here, and welcome to another episode of Free Create Fridays. We are here to inspire you to try new things, get crafty, get creative, and warm and wake up your soul. So this week, our amazing fun project is going to be working off of our project from last week, which was our fiber feathers. And this week we are going to bring it all together with a fiber and hoop Dreamcatcher. Now, I love Dreamcatchers. They are amazing. They come from our Native American brethren and sisters, and it is an amazing tool to use spiritually. They say that they catch the bad dreams. So, for any of you that have sleeping problems, I do sometimes recommend throwing a Dreamcatcher or two up there in your room next to your bed, and I personally have seen results with it, and others have too. So this is going to be a super fun project, very easy to do, and it's on a budget because normally you would use bent branches, or they have now in modern times the metal rings that you wrap with leather suede, and then you do the webbing with sinew. Well, those things actually do sometimes cost a fair bit of money, and especially if you're wanting to do this as a project with your girlfriends, have a wine night, or a project at a party, or just to do some on your own, maybe to sell. Those kinds of things can make it a little expensive. So today I'm going to bring you a version that is easy to do and is budget friendly. So let's get started. We're gonna, as always, get started with our stretching. So grab your tea, grab your wine, grab whatever you're gonna need, and let's get going. All right, here we are for this week's stretch. We are going to be focusing on our hands and our wrists and our fingers because this is very dexterous work. So it actually might make your fingers sore to be doing all of this if they're not stretched out, which I know sounds crazy, but it's happened. So we are going to start, as always, with our awesome stretch up and feel that. Ooh. And bend forward. Keep your legs straight, but not hyperextended. And reach for the floor. Roll it up. And just a little bit of a back bend here. Woo! Always feels good. So, fingers. Our fingers have lots of muscles and tendons and wrists, of course, that we overexert a lot of the time because we don't take the time to stretch them. So we're gonna go and start stretching our wrists. Just want to take them in nice circles, very comfortable. As you can see, I'm not whipping them around or anything. I'm just gonna go out and in. And you want to try and extend your wrists to the maximum flexibility that they can go right now. And as you get more flexible, you will get more rotation. Back out a little bit more. Once more in. All right, so we're just going to gently, very gently, press our hand and stretch our wrist this way. And again, gently pressing it back. You can do some pulses here. Again, no jerking motions, just. All right, and then the same for the other side. Just very gently. If it hurts, don't do it. You can also bring it to center here, heart center. Just gently press them in to one another. I can feel it. Can you feel it? All right, I'm just gonna bring them around. And around. All right, and then last but not least, stretch those fingers out. So you want to actually put a little effort into this. I know you can't see very well, but you can't tell, but all my fingers, I'm trying to use all the muscles in my fingers when I move them. Not just kind of do this off of the skeletal, but actually pull those muscles into action. And this is a great one that you can do sitting in the car, waiting at a red light, or if you're standing there stirring, you can be, you know, kind of one of these things. That's great for your brain strength. So that is our stretch for today to get us started to work on our dream catchers. I'm gonna go gather up all the materials that you will need, which really is only 4 things, unless of course you want to add embellishments, which I always encourage. So let's go grab all of that stuff and see you on the other side. Here is everything you will need to play along with us today. All you're gonna need is a wooden embroidery hoop. This one happens to be 4 inches, and you can find them very easily in almost any craft section. Order them in bulk, all kinds of wonderful things. You're gonna need some yarn, much like from last week. And if you did last week's project and you've already made your feathers, I would suggest continuing on making your dream catcher in those colors. And if you haven't, then you can make a whole new set in whatever colors you want. And of course, some scissors. Here I have some yarn already cut out, and it is a length of 5 yards total. So that's actually 15 feet. But we are going to be warping that around these hoops here, and I'm going to show you how to do 2 different kinds. One is more of a woven loom warp, very much like almost like a carpet. And the other is going to be your traditional dream catcher style. So grab all of your stuff and let's get started. All right, we're gonna get started here by separating the 2 halves of the embroidery hoop. One we will use for one style and one you will use for the other. You could also just do one and use the outer ring of the hoop to keep everything nice and tight. But if you would like to do both of these projects and save a little money, you can separate them and do both. I'm gonna close this one up just a little bit, that, and set her to the side. So the first one that I'm going to be showing you is how to do a warp loom, which is very much like how you would set up to do weaving. Now, this is one I've seen on the internet, and it is a very cute take on the traditional dream catcher. It's very homespun feeling, very warm and homemade. I love it. So you're going to do a double knot there. And it's okay if you leave this tail for now. So here comes the fun part. I'm going to do this facing you, so it'll be backwards for me, so hopefully I get it right. You are going to take your string once you've double knotted it here, and you are going to take it over the top there. Have your bundle here, up, through, okay, up through, and over. Again, you're going to go around, in, through. Now you're going to go the other direction. Okay, it looks kind of messy right now, I know, but it's going to come together really quick. So again, out and around and through. Whoop. And now you're going to go further this way. So every time you go out and around, up through the back, in through the middle, and then go in the opposite way. So these ones are all going to come around this way, and then these ones starting from the middle here are all going to come around and meet this top knot here. You can space them how you like. Of course, the wider you space them, the bigger the warp of the loom is going to be, or you can space them really tight. Here I'm doing it about maybe inch, inch and a half separate. So you're going to come around. Now, before you come back around and re-loop it with the starter right here, we are going to capture up this middle bit, which is simply taking your excess and warping it up through the middle. So instead of So instead of coming around and kneading this one, I'm going right next to it, in the hole, in between next to it, sticking our yarn through, and that's gonna start to tighten up our middle there, all right? See that? We're gonna come around through, and instead of coming around the hoop, I'm gonna go again through the center and tighten that up, okay? Then we're going to go perpendicular, whoop, and we're going to go completely in the opposite direction, or perpendicular direction, I should say. So let's wrap it around again, just this way, so that there's a front and a back. And then up through the middle here, through there. Okay, so you can see how that's really tightened that up. Made it really nice. And again, just to make that secure. Whoop. Okay, and then you're going to come around through our center middle here, again perpendicular. So now we're working again at the top and the bottom spokes. So if you notice that you're a little off center, you can actually loosen some of this up here and scoot it around. Okay, and tighten her back up. So you come back, wrap it around, and then you can connect it back right in there. And now we will just tie this up. So I had you always, I like to recommend a little bit more yarn, just in case you have a different size of hoop. Just gonna tie this off here. So you've got that started, and now you're gonna take the little tail that you had before, and you're just going to tie those two together, double knot at least, and then that will ensure that everything stays nice and locked together. And then depending on your yarn content, you could just clip them or burn them, or however you would like to do that. If you're going to burn it, please make sure you know what your yarn content is before you go and set your house on fire. So this is our basic warp loom. Now what we're going to do is take our other fun colors, and you can either use a very wide, say, upholstery needle for this to thread your yarn through the eye of the needle and do it that way, or you can make a little bundle and weave them in and out and in and out. And this is where you can start incorporating some of your other colors. So let's show you that. Right, so I've gone ahead and made little bundles of 10 yards, 10 yards, and 5. Now, I made these little bundles simply because I don't have any embroidery with needles with me right now, but if you do have them, you can also use those. Thread the yarn through the really big eye of the needle, and this also is a great way to, in our next project, part of this project I should say, to be able to attach beads to either of these versions of this project. This one, this weave, this loom in particular, is great if you have any raw wool as well. That's, you know, kind of what you would imagine that this was spun from, as fuzzy and wonderful as it is. So if you have raw wool that's really nice and beautiful and puffy, this is a great way to utilize excess of that. So it's very, very simple. We're just going to pick a color, and we've got our little tail here. Now, if you recall, we have a front and a back. So here's our back for argument's sake. There's the front. So we're just going to loop it on the bottom through there, and this one we're going to put through the top. Whoop. Just like that, and tie this off with a little bit of a tail. And this tail will get tucked into our weave, but we've got to give this some place to anchor. This one is interesting in that after you've made your warp threads here, you actually work from the inside out, as opposed to when I show you how to warp this other one, you're going to work from the outside in. So they're really fun that way. All right, now you've got your starter placed. Just going to come back through, and here's your, ooh, there we go, you can't see. And there is your top. As you can see, there's the ones with the extra threads. And we are just going to work our way around. As you can see, we've got a couple of different patterns going on here. It's looking really cute, and I'm just going to keep on keeping on, and I will show you what it looks like at the end. So we can move on to our next project. Our next half of our project is going to be working on our traditional Native American weave with the outside of our hoop and another 5 yards of yarn. So let's put this aside and I'll get started with this. All right, for our second and last dream catcher today, we are going to be doing the traditional weave. Now, I'm going to be using the outside of the hoop just to be budget friendly, but of course, if you want to use the outside of this hoop to put around this later so everything stays nice and tight and doesn't move, or vice versa, using this one for your traditional weave and then same thing, that's fine too. But since I've got 2 pieces of material here, I'm gonna use them. This is exceedingly simple, but with beautiful effect. I'm gonna start with the closer, the tightening mechanism on the bottom, because I'm actually going to try to camouflage it by wrapping some of the yarn and hanging the feathers off of it. So you can actually begin by wrapping your wooden hoop with yarn, or if you have the suede, you can do that, or you can just do it straight onto the wood. So lots of options there. This I've got here is ombre yarn, which comes from this bad boy here, which has got lots of beautiful colors on it, and I love ombre things that flow from one color to the next, I should say. And this one is going to go from light to a lovely smoky dark purple. So almost lavendery, smoky purple, and that's gonna look really cool as the weave moves into the center. This is also another one where you can use an upholstery needle and stick that on the end here and use that to weave and also add beads as you go. So to get started, very much like our other, so you're gonna tie a knot at what you want to be the top. Make sure to double or triple knot. Nice and tight. Okay, all nice and double knotted. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm gonna try and do this backwards again. You're going to take your thread, come around the top, and come out through that loop. So you end up almost doing a slip knot type situation there. See that? So we are going to do this all the way around and then continue doing this in the holes of the ones that we're going to make here, and that is how our web is going to be created. Okay, we have finished our woven. As you can see, you can leave holes, and there's just a transition there. And all I've done now is just taken a spare piece of thread and or of yarn and threaded it through our topmost double knot here. And now we have something nice that matches to hang it with. Just gonna knot this off. Okay. Now we have a cute woven dream catcher. Super cute. And then here we can add one of our feathers. And there we have it. Ta-da! Super fun. Awesome. I'm loving it. So here is our last one. And again, here is the top and here's the bottom. It's kind of zhuzhed around a little bit as it does as you work your way around. Now I had intentions of continuing the circle as far in as I could get it, but my yarn split. So I decided that I liked this open web design anyway, and that I would just keep it. Later on, if I'd like, I can come back in with more yarn and attach beads in the middle or continue on. All kinds of options there. So I just wanted to show you how I was going to close this off. Now, I've gone ahead and started my next loop here as if I'm going to continue on. But obviously, since I can't, this is where we're going to knot it off. Go in there and grab your piece of yarn as if you're going to knot it off, right? I mean, as if you're going to continue, but now you've got the loop here and your loop there. And you're simply going to knot you wanna slide that knot down the length of your yarn so that you don't have excess. And then if you feel like doing it again, you certainly can. Just slipping your yarn through the hole, same hole. You've got a loop there. And then just your classic knot. Do that a couple of times and you will be good to go. Going to trim our excess now. And what we could actually do is the same thing now that we've got this little piece here, is we can come up and use it to tie our dream catcher up with. So let's just see. Go. And look how pretty that turned out. I don't know if you can tell. I will make sure to take pictures of them along the wall, but there is a beautiful, gentle gradient from the light to that smoky lavender. So that is really cool, and I'm very happy with using this yarn that is ombre, which again is this beautiful bad boy. I believe I got it from Walmart actually, so, and probably in the clearance section, but you'd be easily recognize this yarn in the store if you saw it, because those colors are just beautiful jewel tones and they really stand out and I love them. My hair has been all of these colors. There's probably a link there. So here you have our hanging right here. And if you'd like to put a spot of glue on here, whether Fabri-Tac or your E6000 or a spot of hot glue or Mod Podge Elmer's, just something to make the fibers want to stick to one another, that would totally work in this case as well. Let's trim this. there is our beautiful, easy Dreamcatcher, Fiber Dreamcatchers. I love these and I love the colors. And I see some Christmas presents and birthday presents happening out of something like this, because all of my friends love Dreamcatchers and all kinds of spiritual, native, ancestral type things. So definitely going to be making some more of these. All right, but this is our finish. So I'm going to clean up and we are going to finish this video off. All right, Phoenixes, we are done. And here is our finished product. Ah! Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. And how simple, really. How simple was that? I want to say the most complicated part of it was getting the warp threads put on there. But once you really get that going and kind of get that rhythm, you're like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And it becomes really simple and really fast, actually. So, I just can't get over how cute that is. And I am going to go immediately find a place to hang it up. And here is our other one. There we go. Our more classic Dreamcatcher style. So pretty, so pretty. I'm gonna get you to see the pattern. But of course it's almost my skin tone, so. Oh, look at that. Oh, I love Dreamcatchers. I love the energy from them and the weaving. There's something about weaving and knot work, and it's just very energetic for me, and I absolutely love it. This one is definitely going somewhere, and I can't wait to find a place to put it. But how easy, really, how easy was this? It's just a matter of learning, how to do that wrapping pattern. But after that, the sky is the limit. You can go nuts. You can get multicolors going, like we've kind of got that, like as I said, the ombre going on here, matching feathers. I mean, all kinds, beads and charms and feathers, hanging feathers like these from there, real feathers. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. And I really can't wait to see your projects of this, because this is so creative and so individualized. So, I love it. Can't wait to find a place to hang this up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again this weekend, or this Friday, Phoenixes. And I cannot wait to see video and photos of your projects. Post them up, because I love to see you guys getting involved. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm glad I can continue to bring these to you, and that you're loving them, and I'm loving them bringing them to you. And I will see you all in the group and on YouTube next time.